gurus have spoken. I wonder when I entered the room whether Chris was in the room.
I was here.
You know how to camouflage. Perhaps that is part of your innovation, to be able to, gauge the audiences you're going to deal with. I couldn't recognize him. I think I mistook you for one of my students. However, I think in other fora, I have been able to see your name. I mean, some forum called PR Thought Leaders, and you are big name there. So I think I'm one of the people who have had the privilege to, drink directly from the source. It is never an easy thing, students, to be able to have the ability or the opportunity to meet people like Chris, who are big names in the industry. And therefore, one of the things that you must appreciate is to be patient, to glean everything, because sometimes, like they say elsewhere, lightning sometimes does not strike what? Twice. Maybe it only strikes once. So you make use of every opportunity you have. Now, at the beginning of this particular presentation, I think Dr. Millicent styled Chris as a mentor. I'm sure some of you have been involved in mentorship programs or are candidates or are beneficiaries. And Chris did well to take us through his personal journey. I know some of you, I think the majority here are journalists in the making. I'm sure you might change your mind after today's talk to go public relations. And one of the ways in which you can package your stories through a personal journey of an individual, those of you who do features. And I am surprised at how then he has been able to capture the skill that you need to have, which is the skill of storytelling. You cannot survive in this industry if you're not a good storyteller. So what is the story? So one of the things that you have to be able to understand is how do you package your content to be able to tell a story? What is it in there for me as a consumer of your content? And I think he brought out that well, if you followed the story. I doubt if anyone lost interest. I never did. I took very good notes. I wonder if you took notes, but I did so well. Now, as he went on with the presentation, he then was able to transform that particular perspective of being a mentor. At some point, he styled himself as a trailblazer, and we were able to see his innovativeness, perhaps trying to reawaken within you the need to be able to be the first one to do some of the things, and that in itself requires what we call thinking outside the box. You don't have to do things that people have done the same way. I know sometimes they say that if something does not work, however many times you want to repeat it, it might not work still. So sometimes what you require is thinking outside the box. And he has taken us through the basis of how he has thought out of the box, how he has packaged some of his products. We have had case studies, which I believe in some of the content that you'll be writing even in your examinations, I expect you to give us as illustrations, because those ones you can't even read anywhere. So you must mesmerize us with what you have drawn from the source or the horse's own mouth today. So he has been able to tell us about the philosophy of disruption. Of course, he talked about theory, but again, at some point, he talked about the philosophies that you need to embrace. Disruption. You must be a disruptor. What is it that you bring to the table that others don't have? And I think the talk you had yesterday at NTV, you were told that you must, what is it that styles you, that makes you to stand out from the rest of the pack? That is what will make a difference in whatever space, whether it is in employment circles, whether it is in self-employment, online, whatever it is. There are things that you need to understand from yourself. What is it that you want to bring to the table that we don't have? So indeed, looking at him, I've been able to see this trailblazer, I've been able to see this mentor, I've been able to see this disruptor, and finally an innovator. So those are key things that you must be able to take away from this particular presentation as he took you through the entrepreneurial mentality, for instance. Because one of the questions that I'm sure you're grappling with is, from here, next year you will graduate, hopefully. Once you graduate, where do you go? So the question of entrepreneurship and employment, that is key. And he has taken you through the journey of how you must never always just think about money first. Sometimes pro bono services count for a big deal. So you need to be able to think along the lines of sometimes offering services, and then he brought about the question of visibility. At other levels, we talk about portfolios. If I have to look at your portfolio, for instance, online, what do I see? Do I see the journalist or the public relations person that you are, aspiring to be? So speak to the mission and the big vision and the bigger picture that you want to be. What is your dream? He took you through what his dream was initially. I think he talked about being a spokesperson, and here he is talking about or showing you how he's been able to disrupt the system and have these products in the field, and you can see he's doing well for himself. So you can be the next Chris Wangagwa if you want, without adopting that name, right? You can be the next disruptor. Think outside the box, and the future is all right there for you. And I like one of his comments, or rather his, quotes. He talked about innovation is about competitive advantage. Now, what is your competitive advantage? What is it that you think if somebody were to look for from you, then they'll say, yes, this is the right guy for this job. So keep thinking along those lines and the unique approaches that you need to have. And now this is just not about public relations, just about everything, even in your studies. You must always think about what you bring that is different from what others already have. And that is what will make somebody notice you and perhaps give you the advantage that you need. Then he talked about the psychology of communication. And I was able to glean a lot of things about public communication, the media, and the masses, and the need for you to think of your audiences. When you package material for the public, what is it that you are thinking they will get from it? So always think about your audiences. We are so blessed to have had Chris today. And I think this makes for a complete textbook. Yeah, I think I will write a book out of this. Give me the...
I'm writing one. So.
These are very good and rich forever. So along these lines of issues, podcasting, and the things that you need to do and how you can leverage on it to bring about questions of visibility, questions about, being able to showcase how to build your CV out of that, and issues like that. I think today you are more blessed than some of us were when we were students like you very many years ago. And then finally, Chris, I think, gave you hope. I don't think that there is anyone in this room who will live here worried about the future, because he has given you something you can cling on as you live. Tomorrow, as you travel back to Rongo University, I'm sure. By the way, Chris, Rongo University is called the gold mine of what? Of knowledge. But Chris is not the gold mine of what?
Yeah, and one of our values is innovation.
Innovation.
Yes.
So he typifies everything that we give you at Rongo University. In fact, I think we should make him one of our adjunct lecturers at Rongo University. Yeah. So that you're able to feed directly from this resource. So we are so blessed to have you, Chris. We are looking forward to engaging with you in at other levels, and going forward, I think we want to make you a partner and a friend of the department. I will be in the forefront of and always asking the HOD, what are you doing about Chris for us? So I think, Chris, when the HOD invites you in the future to come and share with us some of these gems, now we call it gold. You're golden, right? I hope you will be able to honor our invite. And thank you very much for accepting to come and talk to us today. Are we blessed? Are you more knowledgeable? Yes. So when you see us next time, you can tell that we are more inspired than you are. Okay. So let us work together for a bright future, for a better livelihood, because the future is very bright. Unlike the stories you've had in the past about the future being bleak, it is very what? Bright. And all we can believe and do is let us disrupt, let us be curious, let us innovate, and then exceed even our own expectations. Let us give all of ourselves one hearty clap. Thank you very much. I think with that, we want to thank all of you for listening here. But I should like to say that there are other players that enabled that this particular function went through well. We have one of our past students at Rongo University, currently an officer of the Public Relations Society of Kenya, somebody called Lydia Rosasi. Have you heard of that name? Lydia Rosasi, you must be good readers, okay? And one of the things that you must be able to always consume is content from the Public Relations Society of Kenya. You must be able to know what are the trends. I'm aware they even have some monthly, they call them monthly what? Town hall, something like that. You need to be able to follow the conversations in the field, and research is there.